You're listening to the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. I'm Allison Boyle, aka She Dreams of Alpine, and this is the show that's dedicated to all the adventurous spirits out there who have either been transformed by the outdoors or are interested in what it looks like to step into a new, adventurous, and courageous kind of identity in their life. It doesn't matter what your background is in the outdoors, what age you're starting at, or where you grew up. If you're curious about the outdoors and using adventure as a way to reinvent yourself, you're in the right place. I'll be sharing all kinds of personal adventure stories, lessons I've learned from the mountains, teaching what I know about the outdoors and leadership, and interviewing some amazing adventurous women all along the way. I've been coaching women on becoming safe, confident, and self-sufficient backpackers and leaders of their own adventurous lives since 2018, and I know exactly what big fears and self-doubts can pop up along the way. I have so much to share with you, so let's dive in. Hello, my friends. You are in for a very special treat on the Adventurous Reinvention podcast. So for the next 4 episodes, starting with today's episode, I am going to be sharing the literal behind the scenes take on our Royal Arch Loop adventure. So if you listen to episode 16, you kind of got the 1 year later sort of recap from Meg and I about that adventure. And we also happen to have recorded daily episodes out there when we were on the trail. So what you're going to be listening to over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to release 2 episodes a week. From that experience, it was a 4-day trip. So 4 episodes total is the real raw experience and overview of each of our day on the trail. So it is a lot of fun. There was a lot of painful moments, a lot of challenges, but also a lot of triumphs. So I hope that you enjoy this series and that it gives you kind of a peek behind the scenes of what a tough and challenging backpacking adventure looks like, the highs and the lows, the 50-50 experience of it all, and why that makes it an adventure and totally worth it. So I hope you enjoy this series. Let's kick off with our episode. All right, it's day 2 of the Grand Canyon Royal Gorge pod with Allison and
Meg.
Woo.
We're so tired.
We always record these at the end of the day, like once we've done all of our hiking, all of our chores, and we're like about to go to bed. So excuse us if we sound tired.
We are enthused, though. Enthused to be here.
We're stoked to survive the day and be here and ready for another killer day tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a spicy day. So, what is one thing that surprised you? A highlight and a low light.
Well, I guess maybe we should preface first.
Yeah.
What did we do today?
Yeah.
Today we hiked. What was our total mileage ended up to being today? Did you look?
It was probably close to 6 or 7 miles, somewhere in between there.
Yeah. So we hiked from our frog campsite back up the canyon, and then we scaled the canyon, and we're on a really sketchy, high
exposed narrow trail.
Yeah. Very scary.
Like 5 in.the.morning, friends. Haven't
very
even
early in the morning.
Yeah.
And then we made our way to what you call the Tonto layer of the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, where the Tonto Trail is, but it's not quite the Tonto Trail yet.
And then we made our way to a sketchy. Well, the rappel was fine, but it was kind of weird getting to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we rappelled 20 feet down. And then we made our way to the beach.
Woohoo, beach!
And that's where we're camping tonight. We have a really nice campsite.
Yeah, it's lovely.
We're literally right on the beach, the Grand Canyon. There's, again, nobody around. Not a soul in sight.
Nope.
We did see people today, though.
We did. We saw lots of river groups. Lots of them, which was kind of nice because you're like, well, if something really happens, we're safe today.
If something really happens today, which I think we made it through the sketchiest parts.
Yeah.
Thankfully. I mean, we'll see. TBD tomorrow.
TBD. Yeah.
But we also went to a really cool, once we set up camp, Meg convinced me to do more hiking. And we hiked to Elves Chasm, right?
Yes, which is not like easy hiking. Like
No.
there's some scrambling.
It's like a mile and a half, but it's like a long mile and a half.
Yes, and hot mile and a half.
And hard and like some exposure, which after today, I don't know, after earlier today, I feel like my bar has been lowered for what's sketchy. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I wasn't like...
That didn't feel like death.
Walking across a gap that led to like 300 feet below me.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that was fun. And we hung out there during the heat of the day, sort of.
Yeah, we hid under a rock like lizard people, troll lizard
for
people.
like a few hours.
Yeah, but
by a spring, it was lovely. And
yeah, it was like 20 degrees cooler at the spring than it was anywhere else we've been today. So it was
that
really
was
nice.
Beautiful. And worth going to. Part of me thinks worth going to, and the other lazy part of me thinks I should have just stayed at the beach. But I have like equal emotion towards both feelings. So
yeah,
I'm happy I went.
yeah.
And then we hiked back when it was hot.
Oh my God, it was miserably. We left at probably the hottest point in the day. I don't know why, but we chose that time.
Well, we just wanted to have chill time at the beach.
Which we didn't really end up having, but it's fine.
I just don't even know if we would have I
don't think there was any way around the situation we were in. It was either going to be we would get 15 minutes to hang out here or
have to hike through the heat.
Yeah, and then be like cooking in the dark.
It was so hot.
It was so hot.
Okay, so what was the things you said? Surprising?
Yeah, surprising, best part, worst part.
I mean, surprising.
Surprising can be good or bad. That helps.
Okay, I'm going to start with hardest because that's easier for me.
Yeah.
The hardest part was like in the morning when we were on that like really high exposed thin like trail in the canyon.
Yeah.
And most of it was like fine.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some parts like very high consequence if you were like very high, like death.
Yeah.
Consequence if you messed up.
Yeah.
And that was scary.
That was definitely, that was I thought that was like a really like a punch in the face to start the day.
Yeah. But, we just and Meg's like a good, calm, like confident person. So like I just followed her lead and we just made our way slowly. And there were moments where I was just like, Meg, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And you would just like talk me through it. And, my instincts would kick in eventually.
Yeah.
Like my climbing instincts. But it's just weird doing all of that with such heavy packs.
Yeah, it really throws off your like sense of self in that moment. And you're kind of like,
yes. And then there was the other hardest part was like the rappel, but I enjoyed that more than the morning part, I will say.
Yeah.
It wasn't as scary.
The rappel to me felt really hard because it was like I had to be really heads up. I had to pay attention to what I was doing. And we rappelled using double length runners as a harness. Okay. So we had very minimal gear.
Yeah.
And just to make sure like the packs didn't go down into a ravine where we wouldn't have them anymore. Everybody was being safe. I was being safe because I sat at the anchor for a while. And doing that and with the sun just pelting you, I was just like, I remember just sweating bullets, just being like, It'll be okay. We're doing great. It's fine.
But also a sense of like, this is the way.
Yeah.
The only way.
Yeah.
You're not going back.
No, you're not going back. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could, but like,
you don't want to.
You don't want to.
Yeah. Exactly. So it felt really good. I actually really liked the rappel. It was like just enough safety and security at like the anchor and below.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a super exposed, or I mean, it was exposed, but it wasn't like
free hanging
rappel.
Yeah,
and it was short.
So,
best part of the day. I mean, I have to give a shout out to Elves Chasm, like hanging out there under a boulder or like by the beach, like in the shade. I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't hot.
Yeah.
Or scared. I was like in water. They were surrounded by beautiful water. We got to talk to people. That was fun.
Yeah, and there was lots of plant life. It was gorgeous. It was like this air. It was like the air conditioner of the canyon. Like,
yeah, it was really
you'd get
nice.
to it, and it would instantly be this cool breeze, and it was just so lovely. And the water was like, it kind of took it out of you when you jumped in because it was so cold, but it felt very cold, so good. It was nice to like get my hair wet. I think like I skinny dipped in between rafting groups, and some guy came up, and I like. I did not have any pants on, so that was like a special
But
scene.
apparently that's the thing there.
Yeah.
A lot of people did the same thing. So.
Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we saw a lot of dong today, so.
I would also say, like, best thing, I really like this beach campsite. I'm enjoying that, too. But we didn't get to enjoy it that long, so that's the only downside.
Yeah, it would be, like, I see how some groups have reported that they linger here too long and it screws them over the next day, because it would be nice.
Because it is kind of, it lures you in. You're like, but why would I leave? Like, the water's right here. The beach is cozy. There's shade. This tree provides, like, all-day shade, depending on where you're standing.
Yeah.
And then most surprising is maybe that the GC water wasn't that bad tasting.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to think, like, what would be most surprising?
Yeah, I think
we thought it would taste bad for some reason.
Yeah.
It's very brown.
Yeah, and like a lot of people say it can taste really silty and minerally, but I actually think it tastes better than the spring water, so. But, yeah. Oh, man, I would have to agree with you for me, I think the most challenging part was that one move we had to do with over the, like...
There was, like, a gap. There was, like, a straight-up gap.
Yeah, it was...
Connecting the trail.
We had to, like, bisect a dihedral. So if you're not a climber, it means, like, there were two pieces of rock coming together at a perpendicular angle, but there was a gap between them. So... And we had to, like, step over it, except for where you really wanted to put your hand was this, like, mean cactus. Yes. So you were kind of like, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, like... The
cactus are so mean
They're so mean here.
Everything's out to get you.
Yeah. So I think that, to me, was probably the most frightening part of the day. And, like, what worse? I did not like hiking back in the heat of the day. That was very, very unpleasant. That really sucked.
It was familiar.
But it was familiar. You were like, okay. This other thing, you're just like, oh, I've got like 40 pounds on my back, and I'm just going to swing my weight off the end of this cliff to like...
I might die.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I might die. And then I'd say the best part of the day... I think arriving at the beach camp and realizing we would be comfortable was like huge for me today, because last night was not great. So just all the frogs all night long. So just coming here and being like, oh my God, there's going to be a breeze and we have some shade and there's water right here. And I don't think I think the water will be louder than the frogs.
We feel water rich.
Yeah, super water rich. Elves Chasm was obviously amazing. Like, it was really nice. And it was not as relaxing as I wanted it to be because of the hiking to get there and back. But at least we got some time to just be off of our feet.
I think, like, when you first told me about this trip, I was imagining, like, we get to the beach camp and then we hike along the beach to get to Elves Chasm. Yeah. Like, that's kind of, like, in my mind what I was thinking it would be like. And I was like, oh, that sounds really nice. Yeah. Like, really. A mile and a half to this cool hangout spot.
I thought it was
a rugged trail.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, like you would just go,
like spicy in some sections.
Yeah, too. Yeah. That was I knew it was gonna be. They said it was gonna be rocky, but I was like, I don't really know what that means. Like, is it gonna be up and down rocky?
It was up and down.
It was up and down rocky. Like, I thought it might mean like boulders along the water, but it was more like
just scaling
up and down, like kind of like stable but loose rock all day.
Like, it definitely wasn't as scary like of what we did this morning, but it was just like a lot.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
I got nervous because we split up because we don't hike the same through heat. So
yeah, I'm like super slow in the heat.
Yeah, and this slowness will like sitting in it longer beats me down.
Meg supercharges.
So I just like rage hike through.
I go on low power mode, and she speeds up. I don't know how she does it.
I don't know how I do it
either. They should study her.
Yeah, they should.
Science experiments.
I don't know how I do it either. I have no idea.
My body's like, you're gonna die if you don't slow down.
Yeah.
So
it was, but it was right at the time where I was like, I really think she should be here, and I'm like nervous, because I'd stop and wait and make sure I could see her every now and again in the shade, and like right as I started like hiking down to go like scampering around to try to find her, she popped up and I was like, oh, hey.
I was taking my sweet time.
Yeah, it was great. I was just happy. I was like, oh.
I kept popping into these pockets of shade and you know how like on the inside of they would kind of like weave in and out of these like, kind of canyons. And I would just be like, okay, lower your body temperature, recollect. Yeah. And then I'd be like, recharge and then go again.
Yeah, I just want to commend you for how tough you're being, because if you don't like the heat, this is like apparently, according to some river guides, unseasonably hot right now, and I think it's hot, and I don't mind the heat. So
maybe it's just because I've done the rim to rim twice.
Yeah,
like in May, so I guess I just was expecting it to be this way.
Yeah.
So part of me came into this knowing I'd be like miserably hot.
Yeah, at least you had the experience. So I think it's been fun, and we like did a lot of really cool partner things today, which was really nice. Like we were boosting each other, spotting each other, and like passing packs. It was great. So I really enjoyed the camaraderie. The most surprising thing, I said the beach camp, didn't I? I guess like bad surprise was definitely the morning. Like I knew we had to go out the way we came, but I did not realize that we would be like just sort of like on a 12-inch wide trail with like slippery rocks like on the side of a cliff. So
yeah,
like that was not mentioned anywhere in my research. So that was a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't read those, so I don't know, but yeah. I definitely wasn't expecting that.
No, I was like, oh, like the really like scary scrambling is probably behind us. Au contraire, my friend. Yes. It was just beginning.
I keep saying that about the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And like, I think we're done with the hard parts now, right? And you're like,
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't know. I would be surprised if we were doing what we were doing today, like on the Tonto Trail.
Also, we've named the Grand Canyon GC. Like, GC. He's our homeboy.
Yeah. Taking care of us. Giveth and taketh all at once. It's
that
like
GC giveth and the GC taketh.
Yes. Like full on and within the same minute sometimes. Like
oh, yeah. Like yesterday.
Like yesterday. Yeah.
We were having like the highest moment of our trip and then we immediately went to the lowest.
There's no dimmer switch in the Grand Canyon. No. It just is on or off.
It's like, I bless you with spring water. And then I'm like, I bless you with heat.
Yeah, it's like, now I whip you with heat. And you're like, okay.
But anyways, we got to go to bed.
Yeah.
We're waking up at a
late
3 a.m. because we don't want to hike in the heat. No. Tomorrow's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
12 miles again, which I don't know. Like when I first saw 12, I was like, I can do 12. But we're doing 12.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to try to find a place to hole out in the middle of the day. So get as much hiking done as we can in the morning. But it's uphill now. We're going to make our way out of the canyon.
Yep. We're going back.
We're hauling lots of water.
Yes. We have a dry camp tomorrow night.
We each have 10 liters. So, I don't know. It's going to be its own version of...
awful.
Yeah.
But beautiful. It'll get prettier as we go up, I think. So.
And if somebody finds this...
Okay.
Just kidding. All right. We're out.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, I wanted to thank you real quick for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. If you love this episode and you want deeper support in becoming a safe, confident, and self-sufficient hiker and backpacker, then head over to shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist to learn more about our Backpacking Badass coaching program, where I teach you absolutely everything you need to know to be self-reliant on the trails and stop waiting around on others for the adventure invite. So I'd love to help you more in your journey of stepping into your adventurous identity, and that program is the absolute best place for us to start working together. So again, that's shedreamsofalpine.com/waitlist, and you can learn all about it there. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you get to spend some time outside this week, and I'll be back very soon with a brand new episode. Bye.